I'm across the street from Thomas Edison National Historic Park, and yesterday when I was at Ringing Rocks County Park in Pennsylvania, I told a guy I was coming here that I'd met in the park, and he said, yeah, when you're there you have to check out this place called Jimmy Buff's. It's a little hot dog stand, and they do this thing called Italian hot dogs, which I'd never heard of, and so like, check it out. I'm a bit of a travel foodie, so I like to try things out when I'm traveling, and I got the double. Hopefully it doesn't kill me. And here is the Italian hot dog. So it's got like thick cut potato, French. They're like scallop cut, but they're fried. And there's some hot dogs in there, peppers and onions. And so I'm gonna see how much damage I can do to that thing, because it does look good. It smells good too. So I finally made it down to the hot dogs. It's pretty good so far, and the potatoes are excellent. And the bread is like, it's not even a hot dog bun, it's like half a loaf of fresh baked Italian bread. And it's almost looks like a giant bagel. Yeah, it's really good so far. And I should be able to finish it, I think. It's not quite as huge as it first looked, so anyway, I'm gonna keep working on it. Alright, so I'm here at Thomas Edison National Historical Park in New Jersey, and most of the facilities are closed because of COVID. In fact, they're all closed, but you can still kind of walk around the grounds and get a feel for it a little bit. And some of the buildings you can look into, which I'll show in a bit. But so this building right here is the biggest on property. It's all R&D, and apparently up in that section was one of the world's first recording studios for both film and sound. Normally you can walk around the buildings when the park's fully open, and the insides have basically been frozen in time. Like when Edison died, they just blocked up the buildings and walked away. So everything is still in there pretty much as it was the day he left. You know, and so many historical parks are like, well, this is what we kind of think it looked like, and they try to get it as close as they can. But they didn't have to do that here, because that's how it was when he walked out the door for the last time. So I'll have to come back when that's fully open for tours. But so there's a few buildings here that you can look into, like the Blacksmith Shop, the Paterson Shop. But that big building would be cool to walk through.
We used to go in quite a bit back in the day. You all get to say, oh, listen. We had our license at the time.
Here's a look inside the Blacksmith Shop. So that was the Blacksmith Shop. Right next to that is the Pattern Shop. And so at the far end of the complex is the water tower. It's pretty tall. And the fog's actually making the tank a little misty. It's so tall. And the ranger was saying that a building across the street was also part of the factory complex for Edison. Now they're, I guess, high-end apartments or something, but yeah, one of the historical factories. This whole complex is just R&D that I'm in now. So this building's pretty neat. It's called the Black Mariah, and it was used as apparently the first motion picture studio. And you can see down here, it actually sits on a track. And there's a pivot underneath the middle of the building, so they could actually rotate the building to face the sun, so they could use available sunlight all day long. And that's where they apparently were, tweaking the film chemistry and adjusting the film so it would actually work good, and making little motion pictures in there. So yeah, our whole film industry basically got kicked off in this building. This is a replica. This is from this was built in 1954, whereas the original was built in 1893 and functioned for a decade after that. So yeah, rotating film studio. It's pretty neat. Here's a statue of the man with his famous light bulb.